Last time on the vlog. I headed to the Lake District for a sunrise hike to the summit of Home Fell, a smaller fell in the Udale Valley at 1,040 feet, which offers great panoramas that take in Coniston Water, Windermere, the Langdale Pikes and Wetherlam. It was a great morning hike and in awesome lighting conditions, and if you missed it, check it out here, because from there I descended down into one of my favourite spots in the Hull National Park. And this is where the adventure continues, as I venture down into HODGE Quarry. HODGE Quarry is a well-known but disused green slate quarry in the Tilberthwaite Valley. The quarry was largely operational in the 19th century, but closed prior to World War II, with only minor works taking place thereafter until about 1960. Today the quarry is an adventurous paradise. The sheer cliff walls plunge for 50 metres, providing a fantastic spot for abseilers. Explorers come down to take in the wonderful scenery and experience the quarry's tranquility. Cavers gear up to investigate the dark caverns hidden within these unforgiving walls, and divers venture into the depths of this dark lake to explore the tunnels and hidden caverns deep below its murky surface. This quarry has claimed lives. As well as being a source of excitement and adventure, it's a dangerous place, and you should visit at your own risk. I'm here to unlock the quarry for those who have never seen it, to provide a guided tour to those considering a visit, and to highlight the hazards that await those who are brave enough to descend into this 100-metre pit. I came off Homefell's summit on the western, Tilberthwaite side of the Uskdale Gap, and I took a path down and around the left of a couple of picturesque reservoirs. You can see them here in centre screen. The path then descended northwards around the bottom of those reservoirs, and as I discussed the layering system of winter hiking clothing, I was following a path along a stone wall, and by the time I was done talking, I passed through a gate and I found myself at the quarry. You can see that path at the bottom centre of your screen here. Here we pick up the adventure at the more precarious southern entrance to the quarry. We'd had a lot of rainfall of late, and the 2-metre drop into the quarry path was a slight waterfall to say the least. I hadn't seen it like this before, but I didn't see this as a problem on the way in. As for the way out, well, you'll just have to see how I got on.
So I've made it now to HODGE Close. You can see it here behind me, and I'm going to take you down there and give you a little tour of what's down there, and hopefully you'll see why it's a cool place to explore. And straight away you can see it's not going to be easy to get down at this end of the quarry. There's two ends and we're going in through this way, but just look at this first. Bit of a drop down, bit dicey, but after that it's pretty much okay. A lot of leaves on the ground, as you'd imagine. Deciduous woodland populating the forest here. I think they're birch. I'm no expert on trees, flora and fauna, but I think they're birch. And you can start to see the lake in the middle of the quarry, just through the gap there. And you might not be able to quite tell that they're caves, but there are two caves at the end over there, and we're going to go explore them later. But first of all, I wanted to show you from this end of the quarry. There are two ways in. So I've just got to navigate my way down this slope here. The sun's actually gone in for a little bit, just behind a bank of cloud. I'll just come over as I'm entering the quarry here, which is a shame because I wanted to benefit from some nice light down there for the photos and things, but it probably won't be in for too long, so by the time I'm down there we'll probably be looking good again. It's been a good day so far. Just a bit of a rocky scramble down into the quarry, as you see here. Once you've got past that first little drop, then that little waterfall, it's alright then. You just got to watch your footing. Descend into the quarry, just negotiating the tricky footpath. Like I say, it is dangerous, you've got to be careful, which I like to think I am. Got down that waterfall okay, but here you see evidence of people throwing, it looks like people have been throwing white goods in here. Nearer, there's one. It's bizarre that people would just fly tip this far out of the way.
Upon reaching the bottom of the initial scree slope, it's then that you're greeted with the more sinister side of HODGE Close. Not to mention all the fly tipping and the bits of litter here and there are at least 4 car wrecks in this sparse stretch of woodland alone. And we're talking old cars, maybe 40 or more years old. It's then that the mind starts to wander, and that feeling of loneliness began to creep in. An eeriness I couldn't quite explain. Does this quarry have a darker past than I realise? Did someone, decades ago, feel that they had no way out but to drive out into the wilderness alone and plunge 50 metres to their deaths in this quarry? In all likelihood, some of the sources are probably right. The cars were disposed of, empty, rolled off the top of the quarry, gone. But maybe 1 or 2 people did meet a tragic end here. And if you know anything about this, please comment. I'm interested to know more. This quarry definitely has a history of tragedy. It hides a lot of stories to which few may know the real truth. But quarry workers definitely died from TNT explosions or falling to their deaths with what was likely a primitive method of reaching the bottom of the quarry. Don't forget there was no water in it back then. It was a 100-metre pit, a green slate mine. More recently, divers have perished from drowning or from cold water shock in the caverns below the water. Most recently, in 2018, a man died just jumping in. He succumbed to the cold water shock. And on that note, I just wanted to talk about this as a word of precaution for those who may decide to visit, maybe even as a result of this vlog. In waters less than 15 degrees C, there is a potential risk of cold water shock. Upon jumping straight in, the skin is shocked by the sudden, dramatic change in temperature. It causes almost instant shortage of breath, hyperventilation, and blood vessels contract, increasing your heart rate and your blood pressure. The results can be catastrophic. Anything from water inhalation and drowning to cardiac arrest. And if your body does react in this way, you could be in trouble. So if you want to visit the quarry and you want to get in this lake, wetsuits are advised. Life jackets too. Or at least some slow acclimatization to the water. I'd also bring someone with you. If you're keen to get in, a mate, someone to save you if you unwittingly get yourself into any difficulty.
You kind of descend down the path behind me there, down the rock pile, and you come out in sort of a flat little bit of woodland just here. Halfway down, and we're not quite down to the water yet, but we're getting there. But just a shame the sun's gone in again, just so annoying. Typical for me though, the light's never as I want it. Things never go to plan.
Welcome to HODGE Quarry, everyone. You can see the sun's just briefly peeping through again now, just hitting that upper north wall of the quarry over there. In the centre of your screen, you can see the main two caves. The right one actually forms the eye of the famous skull photo that many people, including myself, have taken. And of course you've got the pool. Round about 35 to 50 metres deep. Most sources seem to say close to 35 though, but I've never been down, so I can't say for sure. I'm no diver. Straight ahead over there you can see a tunnel in the corner. Never actually been in there before, but we'll explore over there later on. And I've mentioned the tunnels and the caverns deep beneath the water here. It actually goes under this quarry wall here to the east. From what I've read, all visibility is lost at about 10 metres in depth. No daylight. 25 metres down, you've got the main tunnel. And I believe there are 3 separate caverns that branch off down their own tunnels. So, there's a bit of a tunnel system down there. Very dangerous. This is an extreme dive. Don't attempt it without the proper qualifications, kit and experience. On the plus side though, this rock face and several others in the quarry and the neighbouring quarries are still used by abseilers and rock climbers today. It's just a great adventure playground, this place. I love it. I also love this reflection. If you turn your head now onto your left shoulder and view the image sideways, let me know if you see the famous HODGE skull. Some of you also may recognise this scene from The Witcher Series 2. A couple of scenes were filmed over in the caves over there. That's where they bury the witches, FYI.
It's time to go look in a couple of caves. The first one is just here. Have a look. You may not even be able to see it at this stage. It's just poking up over in the centre of the screen there. Black hole. Got to get up this scree first. Here it goes. Slippy.
Darkness. And straight away you find yourself in this cavern. I'm trying to light it up as best as I can with my torches. Tunnel over there, and another more obvious tunnel right in front of us here. You can see it dripping from the ceiling, the water seeping through, and you can't really see unless I turn the torch off maybe for a second. You can actually see daylight at the end of this tunnel. Or maybe my head torch is just ruining that for you. But don't know that I really need to go exploring. It's a dead end by the looks of it. Yeah, it just kind of opens out from when you climb up the ladder there. Last time I was here, I seem to remember a warning sign about diving in here. And I'm not sure this was here last time. I mean, this doesn't seem familiar. It's kind of like a concrete slab, but I guess it was. And then you have this tunnel. And I'm not going to be able to go any further because I've not got the footwear for it. I'm going to go over my trainers in this. You can hear the echo, but at the very end of the tunnel, if you can see that tiny white spot in the middle of your screen now, that's daylight at the other end. That's another end to the tunnel. I'm echoing like crazy. It's really cool. I love exploring little places like this. Just, what the hell is that? Rotten piece of tree. Shame about the litter. But yeah, I just love exploring these places just for another Lara Croft moment, I guess. And there we have it, guys. Cave number 1 explored. As you saw with the main tunnel there, it was pretty waterlogged. In which case, I've not got the footwear to go any further because it will go over my shoes and I'll just have cold, wet feet, unfortunately. But in the summer, I'm sure it is drier. I'm sure I've been further down there, and like I say, the other tunnel was a dead end. But still, cool to explore. Hope you liked it. And nice little vista of the quarry here as well. Now let's go down. Just here beneath the ladder is another hole which leads down into a waterless cavern, and someone has flighted a tractor wheel a long time ago. It's quite worn, but all sorts of little things down in this quarry. And even with the torch on, you probably can't see down there, but just a big cavern. Tempted to go in. I'm going in. So I've just climbed down this narrow hole. I'll show you. You see the ladder to the cavern above me we've explored, and now I'm going to head down here and see what's inside. Come on. Initially here it's just a little stony trail leading down, and there isn't much here actually. We'll continue on down. Got my head torch and my torch out here. And again, we just found ourselves in a great cavern. Great shelter, to be fair, if you're ever stuck in the quarry. There ain't much in here. People have maybe lit fires here. There's evidence to the fact that some burnt old rotten wood, and the sand is a little bit darker, as though it may have been burnt. But there you go. It's dripping, as you might expect. But that's about it, really. Just a bit of litter. Again, some lovely colours. A container of some kind.
engine oil to go with the tractor wheel. And then just the rocky slope back up, and the narrow gap that I now have to climb back through. It's a lot wider than it looks from down here. My tractor wheel blocking my exit. Alright, let's get up there. So that there is cave number 1. A little ladder and a tunnel right through to the other side, presumably into another quarry. I'll have to investigate the other side of it sometime. I've not got time today. But now the trail just leads quite simply onto another cave. So here we go.
As I exited the last cave there, it occurred to me that when it was a little more accessible, it likely may have even provided overnight shelter for the quarry workers who, in all likelihood, slept on or near to the site during the working week. That wasn't uncommon for Lake District quarries back in the 19th century. I also realised that the cavern at the top of the ladder actually serves as the main entrance to the quarry at the south end, by the way of that long tunnel that you saw. Later down the line, I intend to walk the length of that tunnel, with appropriate footwear, wellies perhaps, gaiters even. But moving swiftly on, I descended down into this gorgeous waterside path, which leads us to the next cavern, and a tunnel which leads through to a sump.
And I hope it's not too grainy and noisy in the image. I've had to turn the ISO up quite high despite having torches on. So I'm in an initial cavern here. Water coming in as before. I can go left, but I don't get very far. Got a dead end. Look at it. It's hard for you to see the colour on the camera. Maybe you can, but it's a lovely golden colour. I mean, this was a green slate mine. I'm perhaps not as up on my geology at the moment, but this is a very white kind of gold colour. And here we have another tunnel. Hope this is coming through okay. Again, this SSP has left his tag. And then here, I've got to think about safety at some point, and I'm not sure I'm actually brave enough to go down here. And there's no point because this is where you dive, evidently. That is water, you can hear me echoing. That is all water under there. It's a massive open cavern, and this ladder leading down. I'm just sitting here at the top of this ladder here, and the pool below me goes down into the depths of the quarry. But it's just quite eerie just knowing that people have gone in here, maybe got in here and not come back out again. But even so, just being here on my own, there's that element of danger. Kind of intriguing and exciting, glad I've been down. I'm not going in here, I haven't got any swimming gear with me, so I won't be going into the caves, but that's where the adventure comes to a halt, right here at the top of this ladder. This is definitely an entry point, and looking in, I can see I can see the bottom on the opposite side.
but it looks like it just goes really deep down into this hole. Can't really get any further than that to show you anything, to be honest, but that's just all water that you see in the black on the far side. You can kind of see the underwater rocky wall, and the cavern actually looks like it goes on for quite a way. And then a tunnel seems to emerge on the far side. And around this corner, seems like some people on the opposite side of the quarry. You can hear them. So I'm not entirely here alone. There's definitely that element of danger in coming to a place like this. You don't know what to expect, you don't know how sturdy the caverns are going to be. Just so happens here, they've been well established for many years and they seem very sturdy. I'm no geologist, but they seem as sturdy as you get for tunnels and caves through a quarry. It's one of those places where you're probably glad you told people where you were coming before you set out anyway, just in case. But glad I came down. So, I retraced my steps. But amazing colours. I'd love to know a bit about the geology and why is this green slate even though it's gold? Sounds obvious to say that it's not green slate, but my research has told me that this is a green slate mine. Yeah, just retrace back to the original cavern here. Back out into the daylight. Going into places like I've just been in those two caves there, and knowing that people have actually gone into these waters and died in the caverns and tunnels underneath, it is quite scary going in there, I would say. It's unnerving, I would say that unnerving, not scary, but it's just the element of risk and danger. Even though I've just walked down a tunnel at the end of the day, it's not like I've risked my life and limb. If I'd have gone into the water, I'd have perhaps been a bit stupid. You can actually find some of these tunnels just by going straight into the lake here, but certainly 2 ways in that we've just investigated there. So for now, that concludes this half of HODGE Close Quarry. Is this still on? It was. Yeah, there is another half that I'm going to take you to. I'm going to take you over to where you've seen the caves over here. We're going to come in from that side. But for now, I'm just going to go back to my bag, which is still there, thankfully, because there's no one else down here, and pack up, negotiate my way back up that tricky climb. That way is a bit easier to get in. If you ever decide to visit, come in that way. There's quite a ledge at this end of the quarry, the open end, where you probably need a bit of scrambling ability. So, wish me luck. If you remember just a little earlier when we climbed the ladder and we went into that tunnel cave, and there was a left and there was a tunnel and I could see a light at the end of it, but I didn't go along it because it looked blocked, like I couldn't get through. Well, I've just been ascending the slope to come out of the quarry, and I've made a little detour because I've discovered another cave. And I think this could be the end of the tunnel where we saw the light. I'm guessing, but we're going to go investigate. Check this little discovery out. So again, we have a lot more litter and a footpath leading down. We have some natural light as well coming in from the outside, slotting between these rocks. And that looks like the adjoining tunnel that we talked about. Kind of pointless going down because it goes round in a circle, but there you go. If you can see in by the light of both my torches.
It's about the best we can get, I'm afraid. And coming back out again. I think that is the final cave of the day.
That concludes the tour of all areas accessible from the quarry's south entrance, but now we turn our attention to the quarry's north end and get a closer look at those impressive archways. Access is much easier as the path snakes down through the jungle in the neighbouring Parrot Quarry. But first, I had the small challenge of climbing out of this one.
And that is my way out. It's time to climb. So I made it back up the waterfall. Only just though, I stood at the bottom of it for about a minute and thought, all those rocks are slippy. It's harder to get up than it is to get down. And it's a fair climb. So I thought, if I didn't have upper body strength and a little bit of climbing ability, I use the term loosely, a little bit of climbing ability, I might not have got back out of there. Maybe there'll be another way, but I might have had to swim across the lake and actually come out in the caves anyway. But I got up, I had to use a tree to take my weight that was growing out of the cliff. And then I had to hook a leg over a ledge and kind of throw my body over it, and I got there. So Mum, if you're watching, I'm sorry, these things happen. But anyway, I'm going to walk along the top now. I am running out of batteries and everything that I have here, so I might not get to show you too much of the caves down there, but it's been a good adventure so far, and after this I've only got to walk back to the car anyway, so you won't miss much on the way back down. So we're at the top of the north end of HODGE Close Quarry here now. At first there I was in the south end, a lot more precarious and quite dangerous getting in and out, as I've said. Here it's just a bit of a scramble on foot, it's not too bad. That said, you can still fall. So I have a confession to make. Today I have made 2 errors. The second one, probably less significant. I lost a pair of sunglasses somewhere along the route, I don't know. Sunglasses I was wearing earlier have gone, and I nearly went back into the quarry farther than back there, but then I realised when I was halfway back down the waterfall that they're not in there, so that's something I'm a bit gutted about. They're an old pair, but they were a pair that I liked, you know. But the main error that I've made is I didn't bring my power brick, so 2 of my vlogging cameras have now run out of battery, my drone's run out of battery, and I'm now vlogging on my Olympus pen, which is fine because it was designed with that in mind, but it's such a ton weight. And I'm descending down into what is kind of like the jungle here in summer, because if you come down here in the heat of summer, there are mosquitoes and flies and ticks and everything everywhere. You really need your jungle formula. I'm not even being dramatic, just for the sake of getting down there where it's beautiful, you know. Now testing out the Olympus pen vlogging capabilities, and the rest of the vlog will be shot on it, so I hope it's alright. Down the jungle trail. and you can see the archway, the cave emerging into the picture here. Dripping with water. There are people down here, so you may hear people being silly.
Now look what we have here. Besides the obvious scar on this landscape, this is the last remaining evidence that humans ever worked here in the quarry. The remnants of an old crane that used to haul materials and equipment up and down from the deepest part, I guess, which you would assume would be right off the edge of this platform here. I wish I could see how it all looked at the time, you know, during operation, but still, this rusted old piece of metal is still a distinctive feature here in the quarry today.
And here we have evidence of idiots. Can't fault someone for trying to keep warm. Fair enough, but these guys, absolute idiots. A place of this beauty and just such significance, you know. It's amazing, this water just pouring from the ceiling. The waterfall's a lot more flush today than it is in summer as well, so I'm not going to go through and climb over the boulders, but in the past I've been over here and right around there. It's a bit of a climb, but I think there's more water today. The shoreline's a little bit higher, the water level. So there we have it. Another vlog comes to an end. HODGE Close Quarry completed, and yeah, it's been another fun visit. I'll be back here again to show the girlfriend around, I think, and shoot some photos. But yeah, it's really wet in here today. I've never visited in winter before, so that's been cool to see it a little bit differently. No leaves on the trees, hell of a lot more water. So I hope you've enjoyed the tour. But as for me, that's goodbye now. I'm going to head back to the car. There isn't much more to see on the route back. For now, I'm going to take you back in time to earlier on when I was running out of battery and I performed my goodbye message for you. So there it is. See you next time. As usual, folks, whilst I'm running out of battery, I'll say this now. Thank you if you've watched this far. I can imagine, I've not edited it yet, but I can imagine it's another long one. And I appreciate the views. I really do. I love being creative. I'm really enjoying editing these videos together, even if for my own benefit, to watch back and say, yep, that's something I'm proud of. I can rewatch that adventure and my editing will be getting better, hopefully. There's a lot in it for me, but I'm hoping that some of you get something from it as well. You're enjoying it. And yeah, thank you. Keep interacting with me. If you've got something to say about the vlog, put it in the comments. I appreciate that. And like and subscribe, please do. I'll be very grateful and hope to reward you with more and steadily better content as time goes on. But until next time, stay safe. I'll see you out there.
HODGE Close Quarry, 100 metres deep. An adventurer's playground. Upon exiting, I thought about what it is that draws me to this small patch of land, time after time. Yeah, I love to explore. I love to photograph and video. It's peaceful, serene, but it's also daunting and formidable. A hole in the ground filled with mystery and history. Descending down its rocky slopes always fills me with wonder as I walk among the ghosts of the past, visualizing quarrymen at work, cranes and pulleys, divers and climbers. I come up with my own theories. I let my imagination run away with me. I don't always need all the facts. Sometimes they can spoil it. But people did work here. People did die here. And their ghosts still live here. Before heading back to my car, I stood on the precipice one last time. I took it in. A moment of quiet, interrupted by a curious family. They'd come to peer over the edge, if only for a small sample of the quarry's mystique. I talked to them a while, told them about the quarry, its history, the risk, the danger, the caves and the ice-cold water. I also told them it was a hell of a place to go exploring. Exciting, full of intrigue. But I told them to enter at their own risk. And at the end of the day, when you're that last person to leave, it's a relief to plant your feet back on the level ground above. So maybe that's why I was there, taking one last look, relishing just being back up there in the safety of the cliff tops. Because this quarry cares for no one.